Fantastic! Hey, what's up guys, Bebopvox here, and welcome to MineCon 2012 Video Editing Panel. That's me. I do the microphone.
So this, of course, is.
Hi, I'm Caveman Films. So I do like most Minecraft videos, but you know, you can also do some photography. That's what we're doing. So that's what we got it. So this guy here is.
Hey everyone, what's up? My name is Jeremy, spelled J-E-R-U-H-M-I. So I do a lot of Let's Plays, machinimas, time lapses, and all that sort of stuff. I use Sony Vegas, and yeah.
Yeah, well, there we go, that's awesome. Yeah, so, well, I mean, Jeremy brought up a good point there. What we'll now do, I think, is to go over the individual softwares. We pretty much all use different video editing software. So, myself personally, I've just started using Adobe Premiere Pro, Drop. Why?
I use multiple things, actually. I always use Final Cut. Who actually uses Final Cut? Raise your hands. Who uses Windows Movie Maker? Who uses Premiere Pro or Premiere Element? Stuff like that? What else have we got?
I think it's important to say
Vegas.
that Trot uses, Vegas uses.
The point I'm trying to make.
Down there. Use 7. He uses FCP7. I know there's a difference
FCP7.
between 7 and X.
What I'm trying to make is, it really doesn't matter what software you use. It's how the thought process goes into how you cut. And there is a lot of things to talk about with that. And I could go on for 2 hours, but I won't. And I'll get back to you on that. So this is what Ross likes to edit with.
It's also it's also Final Cut 7. Again, like I think it does depend on personal preference. Like, for example, you use Sony Vegas, don't you? I'm spoiling your intro. Which one do you like? But yeah, I mean, again, I think there's a lot of content talking about the content you're using. Sorry, the software you're using. But yeah.
I mean, I hop around a lot. I use, I notice a lot of Adobe people in here, right? It was like, what? Adobe people in the back? That's what I noticed. Maybe so, but yeah, I mean, I'm more of a visual person, so that's kind of like depending on what kind of editor you use. Like, I use Sony Vegas. Minecraft, when they show all that stuff, different layers, whatever, animation, you can do it all in all these editing programs. It all just depends on how, I mean, everybody has a different style, so whether you're Adobe, whether you're Sony, get along, be friends, it's okay. So, but yeah, so mostly Sony Vegas, and then different stuff for audio. So, yeah.
I also use Sony Vegas. Sony Vegas is a lot easier to use. Like, it's for stupid people like me, really. You just put the clip in, you can like add effects to it, make colors and all that. And video editing software can actually get pretty expensive. Like Adobe Premiere is like 500 higher US dollars just for a purchase. And Sony Vegas is about the same price too, but there's cheaper versions, older versions, they get cheaper, and like you can get a decent video editor for about $50. So yeah.
So yeah, as I was saying before, I use Sony Vegas Pro, just mainly I find it easier than After Effects. I've played around with that for a bit, but just because I'm doing Let's Plays and things like that, I can edit it quicker because I just find it easier to use. And yeah, I've been using that for a couple of years, so I'm getting fairly knowledgeable in it, but not pro. So yeah.
I think another thing to look at is that obviously a lot of us do Let's Plays and we do a lot of capturing of in-game footage. So another vital piece of software for us is always the capture. We, for a long time, have been using something called Bandicam, which is, yeah, it's really cheap, it does the job. It does on-the-fly compression, so basically that means when you're capturing from the game, it'll compress the footage down, which we find can, well, it does reduce frames per second in the game, so because your processor's having to do a lot of work. Recently, Drop's been playing with fraps, haven't you? Yes.
I am. Fraps is awesome because Fraps, compared to Bandicam renders on-the-fly compression, which Fraps does as well, but it's less intensive on the game itself, but as a result, the file sizes of all the videos, as Fraps users probably know, are ridiculous. So it's a compromise. We went with Bandicam and it was fine. No one complained about video quality, I suppose. Does anyone complain about video quality? No. Yeah. Do you remember, does anyone know our very, very early footage of like Forsaken Lands? Okay, a lot of you, right? So that was atrocious. Who has a Mac? Who owns a Mac? Yes. Awesome. So does it come with iMovie? Or do you have to get iLive? I can't hear them. I'm going to guess. It does come with it. Okay. Well, who wants to get into video editing that hasn't started yet? Hands up. Who wants to do YouTube-y stuff? So, quite a lot of you. And is it game-based? So you're going to record a game? Or is it more live action, editing? So mainly game. Okay, there's a couple over there. Alright, so with game, yes, Fraps. I recommend Fraps. That means you have to use a Windows computer. If you have a Mac, you can use Boot Camp. Have you heard of Boot Camp? It comes with the Mac OS X, I believe, and you can install Windows on the same machine and switch between the two. I highly recommend that for gaming because Macs, as people know, gaming is a bit limited. Minecraft is alright, and we used, in the Forsaken Lands thing, we used ScreenFlow. Has anyone heard of ScreenFlow? It's actually pretty awesome. We used like an old version of it at the time, and I think it's got pretty good now. You can actually edit within itself, so you can record the whole screen, which is a bit of it takes a lot of footage and hard drive space, but then you crop it down to the Minecraft window, whatever game you have, and edit within ScreenFlow itself. So yeah, and then you can also record your voice at the same time, choose a separate input. What we used to do is we call each other over Skype because we all live in different places. And recorded Skype and our microphone and edited that. And that was a bit of a limitation for us because Skype and all our game sounds were compressed into one audio track with my one on top, which takes like the whole fun out of censoring Ross swearing all the time, because it cuts the game audio as well. So I recommend who plays with other people and records with other people. Quite a few of you. That's awesome because there's a dynamic there, and that's good. If you're on your own, there's a bit more pressure to like fill the air with noise, which is basically your own voice. So it's good to have two other people equally as idiotic as you bounce jokes off them. So yeah, once you do that, if you get them all to record, Audacity. Who's heard of Audacity? I'm rattling through software here, but yeah, Audacity. Get them all to record locally on their machines, Audacity at the same time. What we used to do, what we always do, is we press record, we say 3, 2, 1, press record, and then we say our names in order. So Chris Trott, Ross will be Alex Smith, and that's a pretty decent sync. So like we know when we go into the edit, it's Chris Trott, Ross will be Alex Smith.
Like a 1 second gap.
You can line up all of these audio tracks, put them on Dropbox, in a line, and then you can censor and use individual tracks without having to compromise the game sounds. And then you put the video track on top, so you can do an in-game sync. Once you've got your voices set up, you can then in-game say place, which is when you place a block in the game, or break, and that will sync it to the video. Once that's sorted, then the fun begins, which is the actual edit, which I'm going to pass over now because I've talked way too long.
So in summary there, ScreenFlow, Bandicam, Fraps, Audacity, Macs, Windows, other things. I think we all wrote that down. I think one of the most insightful things we can do now is perhaps talk about our process in a layered way. So I don't know if you just want to pass it to Bebop to start. Bebop's obviously a bit different to us in his style in that he has sort of a show situation, he has a set situation more frequently. So yeah, Bebop, if you just want to tell us about your process.
Yeah, sure. The Minecraft Monday show, if you guys know about it, it's me in person, you know, filming, talking about all your guys' stuff and all the awesome stuff that you guys are doing. And the way I do it is, and I present it, is with myself and I have a drop-down TV. If you guys haven't seen it. So, and then these are all different layers, of course, and everything else, but I kind of have 3 processes when it goes through that. And it's first editing my stuff. So, you know, a lot of people do jump cuts and stuff like that. So you first edit all that down, and there you go, you have that footage. And then you get to the fun stuff where it's like, oh, animate the TV. Oh, add little animations on bottom left. Or like you guys, I like what you do with the little boxes. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, I'll drop it down. So,
Yeah, that's exactly it, actually.
you record that. And it's like all those things, you can do it no matter what program, what world. So after that layer of just me, then it's the layer of just the TV, and I, you know, have fun. I export the audio, so I can just have fun with it. And then there's the TV that drops down, and then I simply throw it on there, and then by the time you look at it, though, it's a giant mess. But to the editor, you know, like with these processes, it's smooth and you know, it's a lot more clean. You know, and you don't have to worry about errors and crashing. It's just yeah. Yes, tweet like rage tweet every time something crashes. You know, there's nothing more frustrating. Who said something crashed on them while editing? Yeah, see, it doesn't matter what kind of editor you have, no matter what.
You've got to be brave to go back to that project after that.
You need a timeout. You need to like just walk away, you know, go get a seat, or just walk away, come back, and then get back to the zone. Yeah.
What sort of like barriers do you find apart from crashing in terms of, because obviously you work in a live environment quite frequently, things like lighting, for example. Like one of the advantages of working in game is that the engine kind of takes care of worrying about what's being lit and all that sort of stuff, which, I mean, like, do you come across barriers like that?
I did along the way because when I started the Minecraft Monday show, which is now way bigger than I ever thought it would be, my lighting equipment, I pretty much used what I did from day one, but it's all about watching tutorials online. Go online, watch tutorials, whether it's a video editing program, whether it's you want to learn how to do 3-point lighting, whether it's anything, proper audio setup, like, I mean, just things like that. So much can teach you, you know, over hours and hours and hours of watching it. So, like the lighting that you guys see, I mean, it's like $100 for like 3 lights, you know, 3-point lighting. I know a lot of people, one person who pins graphics, he does a lot of vlogs now and stuff like that, and it's more and more people are showing their face because it's like MineCon. You know, a lot of people don't know what it looks like. I mean, now they do. You know,
It's hard to get that terrible image out of your mind, isn't it?
But more and more people are doing that, so more and more people are like, okay, well, how do I look good in lighting? Because, you know, no matter what kind of camera you have, if you have proper lighting, you know, it can be good. And don't think it's expensive. You know, if you guys want to get into it, you know, it's fun. It's a hobby. You know, don't ever do it for money. And just like your lighting equipment, $100, and it's 3-point lighting, and you guys can have a lot of fun with it. So,
we recently bought a green screen for the same sort of money, like a massive 3 meter by 6. We haven't used it very well yet. A 3 meter by 6 meter green screen, a couple of lights with it. Like, yeah, just eBay it. I mean, obviously green screening is a skill in itself. I don't know if you guys want to talk a bit about that in terms of.
I use the green screen randomly. Kind of like in the show, like a lot of people don't expect it when I randomly do it. You know, it's like I break through the set sometimes, and I come out of the Minecraft world. You know, random intros because I like to do, you know, quick fun intros. And that's like green screen, and it's pretty, you know, chroma keying. That's the how you do it. And it's pretty simple and fun. But that again, it's all about lighting. So if you want to have fun with that, it really comes down to lighting to make it look fun and good and doing all that stuff. But don't get frustrated with it. You know, it's gonna look weird. I have tons of bad looking videos, you know, before I learned how to do it. So yeah, don't ever get discouraged with that issue. Yeah.
It's good.
Okay, so how many of you guys know what a machinima is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, most of you. So for those of you who don't know, a machinima means machine and cinema, and that's really easy to remember. A machinima is basically when you use a video game to record footage, not gameplay footage, but like usually from an actual camera, like a person either acts himself as a camera. For instance, in Minecraft, if you see a person doing an in-game machinima, the person himself isn't an actor in the actual machinima. He's the cameraman. He's directing everything. You know, he tells. Basically, what happens most of the time is you get all the actors, and you basically just call them all on Skype, and you're like, "Hey, get on, or I'm going to hurt you." But you just get them all in the group, and so they can all hear you. depending on what program you use. I personally don't use Fraps. I do have Fraps. Fraps actually kind of got replaced with another program that's recently come out called DxTory. Have any of you heard of that? Yeah, so DxTory is like a Japanese Fraps. It's basically the same thing, except it's slightly less intensive on your computer, and it can also record separate audio channels, which is a big thing, because that means you can have your voice as something, and you can have your friend's voice as something in the game audio, and you can edit them separately. That helps a lot. Really, to record a machinima, all you have to do, well, first off, you have to have a creative mind. You have to, you have to write out a plot, basically. So I've winged it a few times. I'm just like, I just want to shoot something and hope it looks good. So, you have to have a set piece, obviously. You can't just have it like a blank white room. Well, I guess you could if you want it to be boring. But you have to have a set piece. You have to have actors. You have to give each person a character. It's just like a movie, really. You're basically making a movie or a TV show or a film inside a video game. You're using it as the medium, and it's really cool like that. And so, you have to do all the same camera tricks really as a movie. So, there's people that use like sweeping shots, like a zoom in, zoom out, and all those little doodads that video making and video editing have to offer. And then another thing, have you guys heard of like the Shadow of the Rapil or the Yogscast? That's a different kind of take on just playing a video game. It's like it's telling a story, and I don't know how many of you people think that it's not scripted at all. like no one, because they put a lot of work into it. You have to make sure you have the right set pieces. You have to get the timing right. I myself have a series called like Sequences of Dwellers. I don't know if anyone's heard of that or anything, but it takes a lot of work. Like you have to get everyone on time. You have to get, most of the time they record the audio. They don't edit it in post-production. They're trying to do it all in real time in one take. So it looks as fluid and as realistic as possible. And it's really hard. You have to have really good improvisation skills and stuff like that. But yeah, it's really about, I can really tell you, I've talked enough, so here's this guy.
So yeah, I am a Fraps guy. I think a lot of people are moving to DxTory, as they said, but I went on the website, it was just all in Japanese, so I just left it straight away. And I started off with Camtasia, and I use that still on the Mac, but yeah, I use Fraps now, so yeah. When I'm making machinimas, I get a few different camera angles, so sometimes I'll have a friend record his, then send it to me, and I'm usually just a cameraman, but if I need to act in it, yeah, I'll get someone else to film that. And also with my Let's Plays, I usually just record those, and the thing about Fraps is, if you record for about 12 minutes, it's going to be a really big file. So I think the guys at Hat Films were saying about Bandicam compression. But yeah, Fraps records really big files, raw files. That's why I use Sony Vegas to render those down to like a smaller size. And yeah, so Sony Vegas is mainly what I'm based on. As I said, that was easiest. And yeah, that's all I have really to say because they kind of covered it. But yeah, I use Fraps because it's the easiest. So yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. Yeah, it's
I
been a
just
tricky
want
one.
to say thanks for calling the floor for it. That was really great.
Ross, have you, I think, well, one quick overview. I think we focus quite heavily on software at the moment, and the actual process and the story behind something is quite important, as previously mentioned. Ross, if you want to just do a quick overview. Obviously, this morning, I'm sure most of you saw the intro video that Hat Films, myself, put together. Loudy. Yeah, so basically, I think, Ross, if you just want to go like, when we sit down and talk about it, just go over that.
Yeah, so basically, we'll come up with an idea, a basic, rough idea that we might use, might chuck it away.
Might laugh at.
And kind of like how feasible it is, and how, obviously, a lot of stuff in Minecraft is quite easy to do because like I said, we've done like film before where you've got to set up lighting, to get locations, make sure the camera's all right, stuff like that. Whereas it is much easier through Minecraft to set up scenes and stuff like that. So yeah, once we've got the idea, I guess then we kind of work out where else we're going to go. So we kind of do an edit in your head at first. Once you've kind of got that, you can kind of work from there. So yeah, it is about creativity to start with, and then growing from there. One thing I would say is probably if you're starting out, like the things you need to consider. Obviously, this is obviously not specifically on this, but in terms of we've been talking about softwares and the details of what types of software. But things like your basic setup and like your capabilities, like with the hardware you've got at the moment. Because you might have just a laptop that probably might not even run Minecraft that well. So you've got to kind of take these things into consideration when you do an edit. Like we started, I started on like Windows Movie Maker, and that's where you kind of get the ideas for like cutting things together. And you've got to start with something basic, and then you realise that is really limited, and you find something. I think it's only got like one track of audio, one track of video.
Personally, it doesn't matter to me.
Well, no, but like, I mean, if you wanted to like start using overlays and stuff, you're then,
But if you want to start from the beginning, and if you want to just make something now, if you want to do commentary style, over-the-top games, commentary things on YouTube, video things. Okay, so basically get it recorded. Doesn't matter what software you have. Get it recorded, get your audio, and whatever people you're playing with, and then put it in the edit, and then play it through 3 or 4 or 5 times, and get bored with it, and then watch someone else look at it that you know very well and that you can trust, and just watch their face. Don't watch them, watch their face, and look for the moments where they actually react. And those are the points that you only need to keep, because quite often we see on YouTube, you can get away with this. You can get away with just putting 2 hours worth of you playing a game online, but to us, in terms of making it a form of entertainment, I'd say cut out the bits that are boring for starters. Get rid of the stuff.
Find a blur fade.
Find a blur fade, cross dissolve, get rid of it, because it's not worth your time. Or a star white. Highly recommend a star white.
Everybody.
But yeah, just focus on, is this actually entertaining? It's my own voice, sure, that's fun.
I guess it's the genre.
Yeah.
If you want to do comedy, that's up to you. But like, if you want to do kind of informative stuff, then make sure that it is concise.
Condense
and
it down.
If it's for YouTube, you want it as short as possible, because that's when more people watch it. And
There's a massive drop-off of like 20 minutes or so just cut it down. Don't just get all your footage, cut it into 10-minute chunks and upload it. Genuinely go through it and think, is this actually funny or entertaining? Is this worthy of being on YouTube among the masses of others that do the same thing? And think of how you can make it different and original. Sure, you're an original person and have a unique voice, but you're essentially doing the same thing and playing the same game and talking over it in the same sort of way, trying to be funny or informative. So add a different spice. So what we used to do and what we've always done is multicam, because there's 3 of us, there's 3 things going on. So why not record all of us and switch between us when there's something interesting going on? Who's seen Skylands?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't expect that. Okay, so this is when we really started to play with the idea of the edit and think of interesting things that we could do to spice up the normal formula of just, let's talk over a game. So,
song.
yeah, it's like bursting into song. Like all the song moments, like Filth Bridge, for example, just happened because we had to get from one island to the next. So we built a Filth Bridge, and we literally started saying, Filth Bridge, Filth Bridge. And I took that sample and made it into a song, because just you got to think, like, why not? Let's just do it. Let's just play around with the idea of, let's make it into a song and just go crazy with it and throw it in, and people would go, what the hell is this? But that's what makes it interesting. That's what spices it up, essentially, from just being a normal commentary to something a bit different, which is adding your own spin and signature onto it. So I highly recommend finding your own style before putting it on YouTube. Just condense it down, make it fun.
So I guess once you've got the idea for everything, and you kind of you know what you want to do, and you've recorded stuff. Obviously, you want to know that, like I said before, your system is capable of handling all that stuff. I guess then you want to kind of lay it all out, and then start just chopping at it. You cut out huge chunks of stuff, empty space that, you know, most of the time, like we found that there's like, we've been doing a different series with DayZ as well, where there's like huge blocks of just like nothing, because obviously if you're familiar with the game, it's just, there's a lot of nothing. So yeah, you've got to just be kind of like, harsh with your own content, and then once you show someone else that content, you can kind of, yeah, like I say, gauge their response.
Yeah, and going back to the original case study, basically we sat down and we talked about it, and we were like, right, what's the main thing that's happened? Lydia Winters said to us, well, I'd quite like to see like the journey, the distance that or Minecraft has come over the last year. So obviously the last thing we made that sort of showed that was the trailer from last year, when we went up to 1.0 and the game was fully released. And then we wanted to continue that journey. So yeah, I mean, there's
like an evolution too.
Yeah, yeah.
We did it was like an evolution trailer, the first one, and obviously you actually see clips of that in this one, and where it's kind of flashing back and showing you the stuff before.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of going from 1.0 with the dragon and stuff, and then all the way through to 1.4, and also including parts of the trailers that we've also done beforehand. So, yeah.
And when we were saying about the cuts earlier, like obviously comedy, or depending on what you do, comedy is important, but with us, quite a lot of the time there is an element of storytelling. So with those cuts and with that approach, you've also got to think about narrative and creating a story. I mean, we're battling every day to create, not battling, I mean, we strive to create something that people can follow, and that's important. And bang microphones. Actually, talking to Bebop quickly, obviously at the beginning he just made a video right then, and I think spontaneity and taking it out of the box is quite important. What do you think about that?
Yeah, there's definitely different types.
I think I saw you with wheelies rolling down a hill once, wasn't it, didn't I?
Oh,
Intro to the show.
yeah. It's kind of like, don't ever just think like, oh, it's not perfect, I have to have this and this and this. No, just do it. Like, you won't get it, like, you won't do anything if you just don't just clear your mind and like, just record. Like, sometimes you just gotta do it. So like the Minecraft Monday show, like one week, I was in London, and I was like, I don't want to not do a Monday show because then everybody yells at me. So I don't want that. So what did I do? I went to this old power plant, whatever it was, that's now a museum, and wheelied down and did the Minecraft Monday show from there. You know, and it's like, just have fun with it. But definitely all different kinds of styles because. You know,
So that was a narrative thing. So you got to kind of think it's completely different to a video to a let's play. Like when you're playing a game, you know, you're literally just having fun with a couple of people, and you're kind of letting go as such. Whereas when you're planning something in a narrative form, I kind of find that easy because it's like you can literally plan everything down, you know, just properly. Whereas a let's play is random, and like anything can happen. You can cut from anything, and you can do crazy edits with music and stuff. So yeah, I think just kind of think about the theme of what you want to do, whether you want to do structured stuff or like kind of origin style stuff that we hope to do in the future, or just let's play. So like, think about that if you're going to do that.
We are, we're kind of running out of time, but one other thing I thought I would be quite nice to tell everybody is like our roots and how we all started. So if we just go through and say like, what was the first break or for YouTube for you? So
So how I started was I've been doing Minecraft videos since probably middle of last year, and around the release of 1.8 there was the Enderman, and I made a video called Pet Enderman, and it got 2 million views, so that's how I basically started my channel. And yeah, I've just been going from there.
When I started my channel, I was playing a completely, entirely different game. And there was just this guy there, like, in the community of that game that made phenomenal videos, and I wanted to, you know, be like him because this is like 5 years ago. And so, you know, YouTube's changed a lot, but back then he was like a big wig, you know, everyone wanted to be him. He was like the new Captain Sparkles, or the old Captain Sparkles, or something like that. And so, like, you know, you'd mimic him, but eventually you get out of mimicking, obviously. You start, okay, well, that was, you know, I tried that. I didn't really like it because, you know, it's not really me. So you start, you know, trying to give it your own style. You start making characters, start, you know, working on it. And so then I started just developing chinimas. And then I decided one day, this was a long time ago, back when Minecraft was an alpha, and I decided to try to shoot a machinima. Have any of you heard of the Curse of Herobrine? Yeah, that was my first thing, and that's like gone over. It's been uploaded to 2 channels, and between both of them, it's about 2 million views. So I was like, wow, okay, well, this was Minecraft. Everyone likes Minecraft. I like Minecraft, and that's how I started.
Yeah, I actually started like 12 years ago. I've been editing a long time, but it's like everybody plays different games, you know. So my editing kind of went along with that. So that's ended up after 12 years Minecraft now. So yeah, that's what it evolved into. And then it was mostly in-game, like a lot of Minecrafters, and then it went into in-person, you know. So yeah.
How we started will be shown at our panel on Sunday in full, which is
Yeah, otherwise that's like we don't have anything else to talk about.
10:30 tomorrow. If you're not doing anything else, come to the Stronghold.
We would like to take this moment now to open it up to questions. If you guys are all cool with that, down the end, you just
No.
throw it on the table. So yeah, I mean, if you guys just want to raise your hand and we'll just pick and try and get through as many as we can. So your hand was up very quickly. Go.
Quick question about Fraps and Sony. So whoever wants to answer. So you go with me.
I'll go down there. I'm going down.
Troll's gonna run around. Oh, throw his chair around.
Thank you, sir. Anyway, so Fraps and Sony Vegas, for example. So I do quite a lot of Let's Play for Minecraft. So one thing that I come across that I'm having an issue when it comes to editing is the fact that I record with Fraps and my computer completely runs fine at 60 frames per second. Right? Now, obviously Fraps allows you to manipulate how many frames you want to record, but when you get into Vegas, it just downgrades to 29.9. Just to compress the file size so you can upload it. Now the only problem with that is that it makes it look like it's choppy. Is there any way to fix that and then it doesn't kill the colors on the after rendering?
There are cases where you can record in 60. In fact, we filmed the opening trailer today. We filmed that all in 60 frames. We put it in the edit and then we rendered out. The sequence needs to be 60 frames. So you want to be editing at 60 frames. And then when you output it, you shouldn't lose any frames when you put it as 30 frames. So, I've not used Sony Vegas. I don't feel...
Well, actually, there's a specific.
Yeah, so Sony Vegas itself actually comes with lots of presets. There's like 1080p stuff. He was basically right about to fix the frame rate problem. You have to make sure you record in 60 frames per second and then edit in 60 frames per second. And another thing, if you ever have like a blurry video, because I'm sure there's like interlacing between frames. So that's when one frame overlaps against the other one to try to make itself look smoother. And while that looks really good for real life video, because it's kind of smoothing out the camera movement, in video games you can tell the blur. There's a really easy way. You just right-click the file, go to Properties, and Disable Resampling, and fix it. So,
Does that answer your question? Is that encoding?
yeah, it moves the color.
Just check the sequence settings that the file you record with is the same codec essentially. So I don't know what Vegas uses.
Vegas uses
Fraps does change the color. It's weird with APIs.
Fraps can actually like have codec tags, kind of like you can have
Okay.
codecs to regular.
Maybe try playing with other things like Bandicam or something. Question? I'm gonna go to you, sir.
When you record stuff, you sometimes like add echo effects or other like dripping effects. How do you do that?
It's a fantastic question.
Okay, I guess I'll answer. There's lots. You just really need to just use any video or audio editing program. Sony Vegas itself, actually, you can add audio effects, and one of them is in fact a reverberation. That would be what you're looking for in any audio program. Look for a reverberation effect. That would be adding an echo, and it's actually very versatile. You can like add like different filters to it and make it, you can equalize it, makes your audio sound a lot crisper and stuff like that, and echoes and yeah.
We actually run Audacity. Audacity is completely a free program.
He said Audacity.
I said Audacity. Yeah, we use Audacity, us three, to record all of our audio, and you can actually run the standard effects. We use compressor, so you just record your audio, highlight the audio track, just go to effects, and then just go to compressor, and then just run it at its default setting. And then we also use noise removal, and you can work out how to use that within Audacity as well. And also within that effects pan, there is a basic reverb. I'm not sure. I mean, there's a lot of effects in there for how basic it is.
Is this audio alone on its own or with a video? Because there's a lot of editing softwares that have all of these features in there. They're all, I mean, they're basic, but they will do the job. If not, yeah, Audacity is the best of what's free, so it's probably the easiest one to use. And there are stuff like Forge.
Can you imagine a single file? It's not multiple, it's just a single.
Just yeah, I'd say yeah, Audacity is way to start. There's so many effects to it.
Reverberation.
Just play with it. I think just literally play with any music file, any audio file you've got, and just kind of experiment. That's the way to learn. It's trial and error most of the time.
Another question. At this side. You, I'm going to go right in there. Oh gosh. Going round. Here we go. Hi. I am the one who edits the Not Screw Game Show. You've probably never heard of it. Stealing the show. As an editor myself, I noticed you started talking about the audio separation at the beginning with all the voices, and one thing you did miss was actually separating the Skype audio from your game audio, which is the painful.
Right. Oh yeah, we didn't explain that at all. Yeah, because unless you have two computers, which we luckily have now, we got like I'll have a Mac on the side and we got a PC, so we'll record the audio through the Mac because Fraps will record the Skype audio otherwise. So I mean, because I only just got a PC, so I've been using my phone, like the Skype app on my phone, and obviously not all phones have that, so it's quite a difficult one to use. I mean, I'm not sure what the best DxTory again. Yeah, DxTory supposedly. I've not used it myself.
I can actually recommend something.
Yeah, sure.
If you have a separate sound card, you can tell Fraps to record your default device, which will just be your motherboard's audio, and you can set your Skype to go through your sound card, so then it will record it.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, that'd be useful. Though. That's something we're looking into. I mean, another thing we're looking into, which is probably more of the higher end, is when you get a mixer and you put all the feeds into the mixer and record a set of tracks. But obviously, that's kind of the higher end, which most people won't really need to hassle with that. But Skype is an option. And yeah, we've been using different computers for recording the audio as well. So.
Thank you, Ross. What time are we on? How many questions? 10 past, I believe.
Okay.
I'm going to go to the back.
Yeah, we got 15 minutes.
Yeah, brilliant. Question at the back. You there with the diamond pick, the iron pickaxe. Hi, how you doing?
So yes, I have a question about the video making. As for myself, I do make YouTube videos, using Fraps. It does run around 1080p and all that. The only problem I'm having with it is that there's always black bars around the video. Like, granted my monitor isn't, an amazing, massive size, but like, is there anything that you would suggest that could help fix this problem?
So when you put it into your editing program, it comes up with blank borders.
Yeah, black.
Okay. What editing program do you use?
I'm a bit ashamed to say this, but I use Movie Maker.
Okay, there might be a limitation with that because with other editing programs you can change the sequence settings and show the resolution. So if it's 1080p it'll be 920 by 1080. With Windows Movie Maker there might be a limitation, it might just squish it down and say deal with that. So it might be a limitation with Movie Maker unfortunately. So you might have to think about looking into a different editing program. Would you recommend?
Yeah. So, the problem you're having is with the black bars is,
you don't have a native aspect ratio. You're probably recording, are you recording full screen?
No, I don't record in full screen mode in terms of like MineCon, so I don't play when I like press 11, but I do record like, when I play it maximized, it does take up my whole screen, so yeah, resolution.
Well, the way Minecraft works is that there's going to be a bar at the top and there's going to be bars on the side, so you're not recording at a full resolution. That would be the reason why you're having the black bars. In more advanced video editing programs such as Sony Vegas, and I'm sure Final Cut has it too, you can actually have it where it doesn't maintain the aspect ratio and it stretches out the video to fit the whole screen. That would be fixing the problem extremely quickly. You could also zoom in on the video a little bit to relieve yourself of the black bars. And either way works. Obviously, one's one more smushed than the other, but there's ways to fix it, even in Windows Movie Maker, actually.
There is a way.
I don't record like full screen settings on fraps, like I just record so that it like only records when that I have open so it doesn't show the bars, it just shows just the plain footage. Like, is there a resolution that you would suggest?
It doesn't have to record the bars. The video, or the game itself, does not, with the resolution, it takes into account the whole window, I'm pretty sure. So, even if your game says it's like 1600 by 980 or 900, it would be 1600 by 900 for the whole window. The game itself would probably be like 1500 by 850 or something like that. Because it's including the whole window, because you have to have the window architecture to close it and stuff like that. But, so a quick way to fix your problem would be just filming it in full screen. That's the only really way to quickly fix the black bars.
Fiddle with fraps. Right, this side. Hello, sir.
Do you have a preferred video format for uploading to YouTube?
Oh, yes.
Good question. We've experimented with a load of different formats. Like we used to just do it as a .mov because we were using Max at the time, but now we're using MP4, and depending on the compression software you're using, because what compression software do you use?
I was using Flash because I have a slow internet connection, so be able to upload faster to YouTube.
Well, is it FLV file?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you using Adobe Encoder to do that, or is it just exporting from Flash?
No, I'm using
Adobe.
Which program is
So yeah, Encoder.
Premiere, okay. So when you export, I highly recommend these following settings. So remember them.
Put them down in your head.
I'm recommending this to you. So remember, are you ready? H.264 is the best compressor for YouTube. It means it won't really compress it again. If you're filming 720p, have a bit rate. Do you know what the bit rate is? So that's the slider at the bottom. Set it to constant bit rate and set it to 5,000-ish, or 6,000 if you want to be fancy. If it's 1080p, more like 8,000 to 10,000, and that would be a decent setting. With audio, change it to
41.
44 kilohertz, around 192 kilobytes per second, CD quality, and I can't remember the encoder. Is it eighth? No.
Well, the audio encoder AAC.
AAC.
With time,
That's
you'll
the best setting.
find out these things.
Large files, unfortunately, but that is what YouTube loves. But if you want to just reduce the bit rate or reduce the file size, so just play with that slider. But I highly recommend MP4 H.264. Okay. Yeah, just play with that. Next question.
The other thing with like compression, I think experimenting, like use the same video file and just go crazy with loads of different types and whatever looks the best at the kind of lowest, smallest size. Go for that. I mean, we actually rendered out that intro video in 32 megabits per second, which is a lot. Like normally you would for YouTube, like 5 to 6 is pretty fine, but we wanted it to look amazing, unnecessarily big.
Bebop's got a bit of a weird actually.
Well, yeah, you guys talking about fancy terms and this and that. Me, I'm just like, the reason why I render it the way I render it is because YouTube, it seems to be more YouTube friendly, and just WFV, to be honest. Like 8 megabits per second in WFV, it's like, honestly, I mean, YouTube just never, it seems to be either upload faster or, I don't know, be nicer to it, but.
Another general theme, the coming from
Working with YouTube is absolutely terrible. It is a horrible experience, okay? Like, It changes every 5 minutes, including the back end as well, the front end. I mean, that's a whole other way, like how browsing works, like SEO and all that sort of stuff is a whole different beast. But from our perspective, it's horrible. It's literally guess the format, guess the speed it's going to take to do things, guess the way to find your video, to annotate it. They completely, you can no longer edit on your video page. You have to go to the video manager, find the video. It's horrible. So good luck. All right. Right. Okay. No, but that's a different story.
That's my question.
Yeah, YouTube's really it's devil to work with. There's even times where you'll upload your videos and they won't process or they won't be sent to subscriber feeds. And then another thing that we didn't touch on in this panel is to try to get your videos, seen by people. A really good way is to correctly tag the video. A tag is basically putting a keyword in there's a tag section on YouTube, and the correct way to do it is to actually have stuff in it pertaining to your video. So if you're like doing a parkour map or something like that, you'll put, Minecraft parkour map, the name of the map, or gameplay, commentary, whatever. And, people search for that stuff, and they'll see you in the search results. Currently, YouTube's very biased to bigger channels, which kind of sucks because, you little guys and stuff like that don't get as many views, and just because the bigger ones are bombing you out of the way. And that's terrible. YouTube's a business, and they're trying to do that. But just having your tags a lot, clarifying exactly what we're in the video. People who want to, that particular kind of content, they'll see it, and they'll be able to find it in related videos of other videos, which is how most videos get views. You're watching your channel, your Tobuscuses and all that, and you see, there's something over here in the corner. Click on that, and you find out you like that person's commentary or whatever, and like that. So, yeah.
Just to add kind of feedback on that. Google Statistics, use that. It's a trend, or Google Trends. Anyway, it's one of the others, I can't remember. No. This is the one, it actually tells you trends, yeah, I think it is. It tells you the current active stuff that people are searching for. If you guys are somebody in a game genre, you can see the current stuff that people are searching for in that genre. So it will say, like, obviously when Modern Warfare 3 comes out, it says, I'm talking about Modern Warfare 3, but then of course Minecraft's always like somewhere down there. But you'll notice sometimes you'll see like Minecraft mods or Minecraft something else, and for some reason, and especially snapshots and things like that. So if you guys are doing skit, parody, something else like that, definitely use those, especially if they pertain to it. So just a little tip.
Okay. So I do a lot of Minecraft Let's Plays and stuff, other games as well. And I think I got that pretty down, but my issue is with like putting music in my Let's Plays. So I just want to ask if you have any tips as for like, what kind of music you put in and when you put it in, or when is it suitable, when is it not suitable, etc. Yeah, like basically, like in terms of what is it copyrighted music, or just music in general? Because obviously you need to avoid any copyrighted music in your video. I use more like YouTube or otherwise an Activate video, I can't pronounce his name, like royalty-free music. So yeah. So like Computech, yeah, that's the one. There's a lot of free music around that if you go on Bandcamp, there's a lot of people who are saying, oh yeah, you can use music as long as you credit me appropriately and stuff like that. So there's a lot of places to find music, and you'll find it really does make a difference in the edit, like having a good track to something you've done will really enhance it. Trop makes a lot of music for us, for our videos, and that's the best way.
Make it all for you.
That way we can customize it to the scenario and everything. Obviously, you might not have any musical ability, so that you can find it online.
That's the key point, is find music that's relevant to what you're talking about. If you love a dubstep track and you're looking at a piece of block of dirt or something, building something completely irrelevant to dubstep, or putting like a death metal song to a shot of flower, just have a consideration of what the music is, what sort of entertainment, juxtaposition.
Yeah.
There is that, but just don't make the music the dominant feature. Music should be an accompaniment to what the content is. So it should be an assistance, but not, unless it's a music video, it shouldn't be the domineering feature. So choose one that's appropriate, and if it's royalty free, then bonus. If it's copyright, you're gonna get, YouTube's gonna take you down.
Yeah, so
be careful with that. That's why we make our own music as well.
Yeah.
Because copyright issues.
Onto that, make your own music. So if you're working on a really like hard, like project that you're really proud of, you really want to be professional, it really doesn't hurt to hire a professional music editor or creator to create the music for you. Now, that can cost you a little bit, but depending on the scale of the project, for instance, if you're working on a parody or something, you obviously want it to be studio quality and have no copyright problems there, because that would really hurt you a lot. There's actually, if you could, see the guy with the saxophone? Over there, right there,
No.
That right there is Pedro. He's the guy who does lots of music parodies, such as Screw the Nether, stuff like that, yeah. And so he's actually... he's working on lots of parodies. He's got Ant-Man's parody, I got a parody going on, and he's a very good musician, and he definitely knows what he's doing. He actually wanted to do a panel, so kind of like being nice to him and plugging him for this, but about music and how it actually affects videos. So you've seen Tom and Jerry, right? Yeah. Or something like that. And do you notice how the music almost always accents what's going on? Like when he gets hit with a frying pan, it's like, wah! Something like that. And it's like you hear flares on the trumpet, like he's climbing up a staircase, you hear like, the piano going up. It's stuff like that that really helps add more depth and better professional feel to the movie. It feels like, oh, this actually is catered to the movie. It actually fits in with it. It's actually made for it. And you can actually notice that, I'm sure. A lot of you have heard, like, in movies and stuff like that, like real ones, that the music actually tries to accompany what's actually going on. So, like, you'll get louder and very intense parts and stuff like that fade off. So, yeah, it's a really, music and background is a really big part of movie making. Audio in general really is, and that's really all I can say about that.
Thanks, Pedro.
Oh, wait. Sound? Oh, yeah, Soundtrace, definitely. Oh, what is that website? I always use it. Everything's in my history. Yeah, freesound.org or
Sound Bible.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Yeah. Or make your own. There you go.
Make your own. Just get a microphone and do weird noises into it, and then play around with the effects. Yeah, it's free.
The key is though, that all this talked about is just more and more things that kind of set yourself apart and have fun, and make people want to share it because they're having that experience with you and making it fun.
Persistence is key. Keep doing it. Don't let anyone tell you differently. You'll get better.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. And have fun with it.
We're going to have a little bit of music to sort of play us out.
So I want to thank everybody for coming to the editing panel. Yeah? And I'm sorry, we need some outro music, please. I'm sorry. Outro music, please.